Aries, hi, it's Erin Scott here. So I'm doing this a little bit differently. I'm actually doing a live stream kind of recording as I'm doing the art channeling because it saves time actually with the upload. So I'm just adjusting here. Okay. So you see everything here. It's a little bit, I'm using a different paper this time. It's stuff I had in stock and it's not as expensive. So I'm just going to use this for this channeling. So what I'm doing is, and this is for your new moon, this Aries new moon that's happening tomorrow. I'm recording this on Saturday, the 14th of April. I was going to say the 14th of Aries because it really is a strong Aries vibe in the air. We have lots of planets there. We have Chiron about to enter your sign next Wednesday, the 18th. So give me a second if you would, because I'm still setting up. We're going to do a little bit of gouache, and I also have my pencils out. So I don't know. We're just going to do a little mixed media stuff. But let me put some color on my plate. Hopefully, I have a little green here. Might be too dry. Let's see. A little bit. We have a little bit of green. It's snowing outside. You can't quite see out the window, but it's a snowy day. Actually, it was raining earlier, and then it was like a soft hail. And then it was snowing, and now it's on a little pause. So everybody, I just posted a video an hour ago, so today on Saturday the 14th, with regards to this new moon. It's potent, but it's also a part of a sequence of events, cosmological events that's unfolding that is dynamic. Because there's a massive shift in the narrative of our growth and evolution, of the energetic stories that are playing out for us, okay? So it's important that you watch. If you don't watch mine, you want to watch somebody's, because there's a lot of information in the field that you really, really want to be aware of and participating in. This is a time to be fully awake, fully engaged in the process of our growth and evolution, of your growth and evolution. Okay, beauties. So let's see what I have. Now I do have my brush. I have my water. Thank you for being so patient with that. Okay, so let me take a breath here. First of all, as Mars does rule Aries, we are going to identify you with red, okay? All right. So what forms, what pictures, what forms and what pictures, what shapes, what movements want to come through for Aries, for the Aries archetype of growth? For the Aries archetype of growth. Okay. What is it? What is activated for the Aries archetype? Now, for those of you that have tuned in before, that have been watching me, you understand what this is talking about. This is talking about an archetype that you embody, that you hold naturally. Everything in life is story. You are also a story. Your soul print is a distinct recipe of narrative that is here to grow and evolve. And the archetype of Aries, the archetype of Taurus, the archetype of Gemini, they all have various growth themes that they're working in this life as well. You also as an individual do, but these do as well. the greater arc of story is also activated. So what I typically do, if you're new to tuning in, is what I typically do is I just let form come, and then we talk, and then I interpret it. So Aries, as you know, there's a lot activated in the world right now, and there has been, but there is now, at the point at which you're watching this, that I'm doing this. Let me just take a look at it. Yeah, it's a little bit, you can see that it's a bit bumpy. I'm using the gouache with the water. It's a bit bumpy there, but yeah, it's the quality of the paper I'm using this month. But hopefully you can still see it okay. I think you can. Okay. So there's intensity, but it's all the Mars energy. It's all the Mars energy that's activated. And it's only going to get more intense, actually. Uranus will move out of Aries, though, thankfully. So next month, we'll have that Uranus moving into Taurus. Now, that's going to create its own shift, its own energetic dynamic shift, which will have its own growth edges. But, yeah. It'll move out of Aries, though, which will at least ease the Mars aggressive, warlike archetype of movement and activation. Okay. So I'm going to start interpreting. I don't even know what it's going to say yet. Let me just take a look here. So the first thing that came through was this yellow kind of arc. And can I just point out, everything's kind of horizontal for you. All right. So everything that's coming through is kind of horizontal. And arced, meaning it started with this arc, right? This kind of organic arc. There's this loop arc. There's this kind of leaf structure, feather structure. It actually looks like both. It looks like a skeletonized leaf, and it looks like a feather as well. So we'll talk about that. But there is this horizontal movement. And what I get, let's just look at the movement itself first. So what I get from the movement is that there is an outspreading of your energy. There is something there's something horizontally happening versus vertically. So instead of, let's say, over the course of this new moon cycle, because we're talking about the Aries new moon cycle, mid-April to mid-May, instead of, let's say, promotion, there's almost like something that grows this way, actually, is what I'm saying. It's almost like there's a propelling this way, but there's also this way too. This almost seems like an engine blast that's pushing movement this way. That's what I'm saying. But what I want to say is, instead of, let's say, hierarchical growth, there's this horizontal movement. It's almost like a webbed movement. There's movement beside what you're doing now. So let's say, for example, but there is movement. There's movement. So if there's movement happening for you, let's say it's work, there might be some movement activated for you, but it's not necessarily going to be a raise or a promotion. But there might be movement that is you branching out into something different, but not necessarily a step above what you're already doing. The interesting thing is, there's this blue, let's say, sky, but there's this arc. It's almost like a rainbow, but it's not. It's blue, like it's a patch of sky. And it could be blue represents communication. It represents spirituality. the color, the frequency. So it could be that there's just a lightness happening for you, a little blob of expansion that's happening for you as you network. So there's something that I'm picking up, let's say, about networking that might be happening for you over the course of this cycle. Now, there's green here, almost like grass, also, again, horizontal. And there's also these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kind of, let's say, blobs of green growth. Green kind of, to me, represents growth, evolution of some sort. Something's seeding, right? So maybe there are 7 key people that you're having communications with, and it's growing something. It's growing a network, maybe. Maybe some movement that you were propelling, maybe an idea back here that you were propelling forward now has almost, what do you call it, like an engine blast happening over the course of the next month, mid-April to mid-May, that's propelling you forward, and it's connecting you to 7 what? 7 people, 7 projects. There's entities of growth, or there's entities or people that are helping you with, let's say, a new path, a new project, but it's something parallel or alongside of what you're already doing. It might be too that for some of you, this is communication oriented because of the blue here. It could be that it's, for some of you, spiritual oriented, especially those of you watching this video. So it could be that there's spiritual communication work happening for you, networked with maybe, perhaps for some of you, 7 people. Here there's like this feather, and it's in like this rusty brown color. So there's something earthy, grounded, but it's grounded, but yet it's a feather, or it's a skeletonized leaf. So let me think about that. First of all, I'm going to start with the leaf, because to me, even though it feels into both for me, let's talk about both. Let's start with the leaf. To me, it almost looks more like a skeletonized leaf, like the leaf that had been, you know, it fell in fall and then it started to erode. So to me, this is post-transformation, and it's the foundations of, do you see that? It's lying beneath this movement of yellow. Yellow is your free will, your movement forward, you're propelling forward into what your joy is. It's following your bliss, ultimately. So there's this organic way by which you're following your bliss this year, or this month ahead. And I said this year, who knows, you know, maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe you are, you know, doing something this year. Certainly in the month ahead, though, we have an organic movement with some networks, could be spiritually communication oriented, and it's foundationed with, it has the compost of the skeletonized, transformed post-autumn leaf. That's compost. This is past history, okay? This is history. This is your life experience. So life experience is composted, feeding this propel forward into something new. Underneath it is this green grass. So it's almost embedded between. So the soil and the new idea has this beautiful compost here. Now, if it's a feather, the feather speaks to wings, and the wings speak to flight, and flight speaks to being able to see above the minutia. So indeed, if there is spiritual communication going on, there could be a spiritual foundation of the compost pile of your previous life experience, of the last several months, of the last several years of your life, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card. This is the Carolyn Mace archetype cards. And I'm going to go ahead and pull a major growth edge for you over the course of this month. For those interested in learning about my work, my holistic work, it's called Holosynthesis. You can go to the alchemyofholism.com, okay, and see my services there. So the main growth edge for Aries over the course of this mid-April to mid-May 2018. cycle, this intense cycle. What I would give you all guidance on, though, is to sincerely love yourself, stay grounded, breathe, eat cleanly, cut the distraction, cut out the television, cut out a lot of the media, you know. Okay, so the growth edge for you over the course of the cycle is rescuer. Now, rescuer is about evolving out of the lower frequency manifestation, which is assuming that the rescued will reciprocate, right? Keeps the rescued one needy. So the rescuer likes to have somebody to rescue. It's really convenient when we want to be a healer and we want to identify with being a healer that there's somebody to heal or there's somebody to rescue. That's how the ego works. So this is about assuming, number one, assuming that the rescue one will reciprocate the rescue. That's not always the case. And it can't be the case if you're coming from an authentic place. And it's about keeping the rescued one needy. Very important. This is a good growth edge for all of us. Okay? Rescuer, what wants to be evolved over the course of this month is providing strength and support to others in crisis authentically. Okay? Acting out of love with no expectation of reward. It's not about getting reciprocation or reward. It's about doing the work out of your own flow, out of your own source field, right? Authentically. All right, beauties? So I'm sending you much love. If you want more information about me, you can go to thealchemyofholism.com. Much love for your month. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.